Man, doctors are lazy these days.
Yes. Are you talking just in general, or what you have to go through or had to go through today?
I mean, it's like, what I've gone through lately, but like today hit a whole new level for me. Like, yeah.
I shouldn't laugh.
You should.
I know I shouldn't.
The nurse was laughing as she was explaining the instructions to me, so I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you were laughing. So this is TMI for everyone, but I don't care. So as you know, I've gone through a lot of health stuff, and one of the things I haven't checked out is my stomach. So GI doctor. Those can always be pretty terrifying because they like to stick things in either end, and I'm not fond of that. Either end. So
either really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's yeah.
It's just very invasive. Like, if I wanted to be probed, I would. I don't want to be probed. Like, I'm like, how do I even finish that sentence?
I don't know. I was waiting to see what you followed that up with, but you didn't.
I couldn't even do it. But anyway, so I have to give a stool sample, and it's not like the good old days where you poop in a bag and bring it in and they figure it out. No, you have to. They give you like these things, these like with liquid in them, and like 4 different tubes or whatever, and you have to literally dig in your poop and just like put it in these things. And she's like laughing as she's telling me. I'm like, I don't really think it's that funny. Like, I don't know what she's laughing at. I mean, it's kind of funny, but like, if I was on her end, it would be funny. But like, I'm on my end, and it's not funny. Welcome back to the Hawk Jock podcast. I'm the Fitz, once again joined by my co-host and Hawk Jock creator, Ryne. What's up, man?
Oh, not much. Just ready for a KU football game this weekend.
Yeah, man. It was nice to not have a game and to be able to sit down and enjoy football, and it was such a great Saturday of football. So many good games.
There were a lot. That was the first Saturday that I really got to sit down and I watched football I watched football stuff, I guess, from 8:00 in the morning until the end of the LSU game. I barely peeled myself away from the TV long enough to go to the kitchen and eat and go to the bathroom. That's really about it.
Yeah. A couple times I just went to the bathroom where I was at.
It was great. Yeah, there you go. It was fantastic. I just haven't had one of those Saturdays, all year. It was kind of nice. I wasn't, we weren't out tailgating all day. We were able to just sit around. It was nice outside too. I think we had the windows open, just hanging out, just watching football. We had roast potatoes and carrots on. It was just fantastic. It was a great Saturday for college football, for relaxing. It was wonderful.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it was because we've been tailgating for KU games, and I think that was the first bye week, so really the first break that we had. Well, no, because there had been a few away games, but we go and watch those games, and when you watch a KU game, it takes time away from watching good football, unfortunately. But
it takes all your energy away.
It does, because you're so just upset and just confused. And this year it hasn't been as bad. I will give them that. It hasn't been as bad. The coaching obviously is better, but still, the offense is still just like you scratching your head and you're like, what are you doing? But we hope to have the fix. More on that later. So let's we got Texas, man. So we just played Oklahoma, the best team in the Big 12, and now we got to go play the second best team, or what we hear is the second best, but not sure if that's actually the case. And they have some injuries as well, so we'll see how that plays out. But a tough 1-2 punch for Kansas. The perfect time to have a bye week, though. Oklahoma, bye week, take a break, especially with the new offensive coordinator, Brent Dearmon, and then go on to Texas. So what are your first thoughts on this game?
I just don't know yet, and I think that's probably how a lot of Kansas fans are right now, because we don't know how Brent Dearmon's going to do with his first game calling plays the whole time. And so I did watch the Oklahoma and Texas game this weekend, but it's so hard to take anything from that because those teams are so much more elite than Kansas. It's going to be a tough battle, obviously, and we're playing in Austin. It's going to be tough. But I'm not so much expecting us to win. I'm not really watching for us to win, and I think that's probably, I'm guessing the same way you probably think. I am watching to see what is different this week than it was a week and a half ago against Oklahoma, and so I don't have a lot of thoughts yet on this game because I don't know. I just have no idea. We don't know what we're going to see from a Brent Dearmon offense that's 100% his.
Yeah, I agree. It's it'll be interesting. And Texas is a team that they're a tough team. They have a tough defense. They have a pretty good offense. Not great. That's probably one of their biggest weaknesses is their offense. I think a lot of that probably is more play calling. They definitely have the talent. They have a good quarterback in Sam Ehlinger, which for some reason, something about that guy's face I just don't like. I don't like how he – I don't like his face. I don't like how he runs. I don't like how he hangs onto the ball with both hands and runs. It just looks so dumb. Like Andrew Luck. And no offense to Andrew Luck. I know he had a tough decision not too long ago to leave football and people gave him crap about it. But it just something about a quarterback running with the ball out in front of him with two hands on the ball. It just looks really dorky. And it really bothers me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, do you even have any clue?
I know, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I didn't want to be like the weirdo that has no clue what he's talking about. So, I don't know. Just like that for some reason annoys me. But he's still a good quarterback. Obviously, his numbers show it. And Texas, their offense is obviously has been miles ahead of ours, pun intended. But that is their weakness, though. So I don't know. That'll be interesting. Tom Herman has proved to be a good coach. He's another person I'm not too fond of, mainly because he coached under Urban Meyer, who is the biggest barrel of trash in college football. But it doesn't mean he's not a good coach, though. He obviously can coach. He's bringing Texas back. They're getting there. It's going to take some time. Oklahoma never left, so it's going to be hard for Texas to get where they think they should be, which is the best team in the Big 12. This is the best Oklahoma team I don't know I've seen since. I can't really I don't know, man. I mean, so for Texas to go in there and hang, I honestly didn't think Texas would even hang with them. I honestly thought Oklahoma was going to win by 3 or 4 touchdowns. So I was impressed that they hung with them. So that's,
yeah, I thought they'd beat them by more than they did. I guess I thought that they would. I thought it'd be, I don't know, at least a 10-point game. I really did, and maybe 14. But I thought it was going to be a lot closer to a 2-touchdown game than it was a 1-touchdown game.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's
very close.
Yeah, and when they started, they came out strong, and they had it could have been, I think it could have been 14-0 or maybe even 21-0 at one point, and they just had those 2 big turnovers, which that's Texas' defense, man. They they're a tough defense. So with our offense, it's Brent Dearmon. He has a monumental task ahead of him for game one of him calling plays. So he's going to get a heck of an entrance into D1, Power 5, Big 12 football.
That is for sure. He's gonna. He's getting thrown into the fire on this one. He's getting thrown to the wolves. He's playing the quote unquote second best team in the Big 12. His first game as offensive coordinator. We'll see how he does. I'm looking to see those numbers improve of what our offense has been so far this year. That's like I said, I'm looking at that and I want to see those numbers better in this game than they are in the season average. And if we do that, I think it's a positive for us, and I think it's a positive for him. You know, we have 3 games, then we have another bye week. It's a good time for him to take over and for us to finish the year strong with him.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was really interesting, and we'll talk a little bit about the whole transition and how it all happened. I think we may have talked a little bit on the previous podcast, but Les Miles, when he had his press conference and they asked him more questions, and they asked why Les Koenig Kenning, whatever, Keening, however you say it, why he was let go, and he really wouldn't give any detail as to why. He pretty much just said he did what we asked him to, but we just thought it was time to make a change, which if he did what you asked him to, then he would still be there. I mean, right. So, but it is what it is. You know, he's not trying to create any bad blood, and you can't blame him for that answer. But I don't know. What do you think the biggest reason why this move was made right now, and what do you think? What do you think was the biggest reason why Kenny failed?
I think, did you tweet this earlier? And if you did, I 100% agreed with you, and I'm sorry for taking your point, but
you just did. I had no. Go ahead.
It seemed like he scripted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think that was you. Is that you that tweeted that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and I kind of agree with it a little bit, you know, to a point. It was a lot of his play calling was, if it wasn't scripted, it was scripted-esque. You know, it was where the defense always knew what he was doing. We knew what he was doing, and we're not Division I coaches. We wouldn't even probably qualify to be a junior high football coach, and we knew what was going on. You know, so I think that's probably his biggest reason for being let go. There wasn't anything there. He couldn't compete with Big 12 offenses. Our defense isn't terrible, but we just knew, or the other team, our opponent, always knew what we were going to do. We were going to run the freaking ball up the middle, and that's what was going to happen. And you can't compete in the Big 12 with having almost less than 23 points a game. That's not going to cut it. And so, and I think that Dearmon was probably being groomed to be the offensive coordinator anyway. And the transition just took place like 6 games before they thought it was really going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't plan on making it this soon, but I feel like after the first 3 games or so, not really 3 games, because that BC game, although, man, it sure had a big, it just seemed like Dearmon had his hands in that game so much. So, you know, maybe that was still part of the first 3 games, and Les was thinking, well, you know what, maybe Dearmon is the guy we need to go for. And I can't remember if Chip was hired, if Dearmon was hired when Chip was still here, or if Chip had left. I can't remember exactly when Chip actually left. It had to have been January, February sometime. I know Dearmon, I think he was hired in January, I feel like. but I can't confirm that. But it's almost like if Chip left and they brought on Dearmon as a backup plan for Kenning, just in case, because, he was pretty much a fallback guy. We didn't know what to expect. But now when I say on Twitter, when I said scripted, I don't want to seem like he just had a set of plays and he was going to run those plays no matter what. Regardless of what the defense was giving him, he was just going to run this set of plays and just like it was either going to work or it wasn't going to work. Scripted is just like he knows what he wants to do in the game plan, and he's just going to stick to that game plan and just do that. So if his game plan was to come in and establish the run, he was just going to continue to run. Or if his game plan was to, pass, open the field up like the Boston College game, then that's what he was going to do regardless. And, it's tough when the defense is giving you something that you didn't have a game plan for. And that's all you have is that game plan, that script pretty much to go off of. And you have like, okay, if they give you this type of defense, run this play or run this play. But if you have just those plays and that's it, then you're kind of really handicapping yourself a little bit there. And I think that's really what happened is the offense was just a bit handicapped with what they could do and what he was really allowing them to do. With Dearmon, it's going to be a little bit different, or actually a lot different, because he doesn't come in with a type of game plan that's like, we're going to come in and we're just going to run the ball, we're going to, do this and do that. He basically calls plays on the fly. Like he'll look at and study their defense. He'll try to know their defense as much as what their defensive coordinator knows the defense. And he will basically, in game, just take what the defense gives. So he'll give the quarterback a play, and he lets the quarterback pretty much decide where he wants to go with that play. And that play in itself has pretty much 3 or 4 plays within that one play. Now, as long as the quarterback makes the right decision, obviously, it can work out pretty well. But I think that's kind of really what new age offenses are going towards, is letting the quarterback have more of that power to make and change the play. And it'll give Carter Stanley a great chance to really understand defenses more. I don't know. I think that's really the biggest reason why Kenny got let go and why Dearmon is being brought in. And I think that's going to be his strength. But talk about Dearmon some more. What do you think is you're going to be looking for as far as a difference on offense?
Well, like you said, he adapts to the game, and Kenny did not. He didn't, like you said, he scripted it, and he stayed with his game plan no matter what the defense was giving him. And everything that I've read about Dearmon, everything that people have said about him, he adapts as the game goes on. And I believe that Carter Stanley said something along the lines of that he feels more like a point guard than in this offense, because he said with the RPO, it feels more like whenever a point guard drives the paint and everybody collapses in, then he can kick out, and he's got 3 open people to kick out. And he said that's kind of what this offense feels like, and that helped explain it a little bit better to me. I don't know if anybody else can agree with that, but that's probably what we're going to see more of, because he's going to have several options. He doesn't just have to turn around and hand the ball off, or all right, so here's one receiver that you can throw to. There's several different things, several different options that he has. And I think that Carter Stanley is a smart quarterback. I think that he can learn. This Texas game might not really show it all, because it's going to be his first game that he really gets to run this RPO 100% of the time. I don't know how this game is going to go so much, but I think as the season goes on, I know it kind of stinks that we only have 6 games left, but we're going to see we're not going to see the same thing in the first quarter and the fourth quarter like we have most of the year. That's probably the best way to put it. If they're not letting us run the ball in the first quarter, we're not going to still try to run the same type of plays in the fourth quarter as we did the first quarter.
Yeah. I
think that's, does that make sense?
Yeah. And the RPO is built to adapt and adjust, and it's really built to beat any defense. And, if the defense is, because the quarterback comes to the line or shotgun, whatever, and he's looking at the defense, and that's a pre-snap read. So he's looking at that defense, and he's thinking, okay, he kind of knows at that point where he's probably going to go with it in most cases. If not, then after he snaps the ball, then he can still look at that defense and see where they're going. And then he can make that decision. Then sometimes it's even later than that. Sometimes he's when he's moving off to the right, like he's going to run or pitch the ball off, then he can still watch the defense and see what they're going to do. And he can decide at that point if he's going to hand the ball off, if he's going to run himself, if he's going to pass it. So it's really tough. If you have a quarterback that understands the defense, that is great at reading defenses, it's going to be a tough offense to stop. So it really lies on the quarterback. That quarterback has to make those decisions. If you have a quarterback that comes in that does not make great decisions, it could be a disaster. So that's
to say the least.
Yeah. So that's going to be the key. Carter Stanley is the key in all this because we have weapons around him. The offensive line obviously is a little bit of a concern, but I think when you run the RPO, it can maybe take a little bit more pressure off of them. Maybe, I don't know. It puts more pressure on the quarterback.
I think it's going to take some pressure off of him. I think he's smart enough to know what to do with it. He has said that he's familiar with this type of offense. Mm-hmm. I think this is the greatest thing to happen to Carter Stanley. I wish it would have happened all year, but like we said, that I think that Dearmon was being groomed to be the offensive coordinator, and so he wasn't quite ready probably whenever he came in. But they said, "Hey, we don't have a choice, man. You're next up." And Stanley is one of the biggest benefiters of this change because he is a little bit familiar with this offense and he knows what to do. He's going to know if he needs to pull it, if he needs to throw it, if he needs to hand it off. I have faith in Carter Stanley in this type of situation. He's a fifth-year senior. He knows football. He knows what to do. And I think we're going to see a major change just in how the offense runs. Maybe not in win total or anything like that. Maybe not a whole lot in yards. Honestly, but I think we're going to see a whole lot of change in how the offense is ran. It's going to be a lot closer to that BC game than it is the Coastal Carolina game, just because of the so many options that the quarterback gets with every play call.
Yeah. And it's, losing Herbert's going to hurt that much more. Because listen to Dearmon, his biggest thing is running the ball. And if Herbert just would have been a little bit more patient, man, he could have put himself in a really nice spot because he would have been getting a lot more touches. Because that's what Dearmon likes to do. He likes to establish the run. But again, he'll take what the defense gives you. But if the defense obviously can't just guard the pass, they're going to have to protect the line and line of scrimmage as well. So, I think Herbert, just thinking about that BC game and everything he did in that game was pretty incredible. And I think he could have been a huge part in this Brent Dearmon offense, but it is what it is. We'll see a lot of Puka. I think, I can't remember. Did Dom Williams get a handoff last game? A couple carries?
I can't remember. Well,
Because if he did,
I can find out real quick.
Okay, yeah, check
in the
it
last
real quick.
game.
Yeah, because if he did, then he then he wouldn't be redshirting. Because I heard he may redshirt, which is the understanding is that he's redshirting to stay. He's not redshirting to leave. Yeah. So that's good. And that could be a big deal for KU because we'd have 2 more years of Don Williams, and that dude's a stud. He hasn't had a chance to really show it a whole lot, but he's a stud. But
he did not.
Okay,
I don't think he probably played at all.
Yeah,
no, but like in that BC game, and that's the thing that we keep going back to because that's the most Dearmon type offense that we had all year, and we're going to see more. I think all of us think that we're going to see more of that. Hopefully, we really do. But that BC game. So I looked up a couple other things on that, and hoping that we will see more of it. We ran 3 or more receivers on 43 of the 72 plays. And then we had 22 plays with 4 receivers, which equaled out to be 237 of our 507 yards that game. I think we're going to see more of that.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I would think so. I think that's the key thing is spreading out the defense so they can't stack the box. Defenses don't respect Carter Stanley at all. And that's really where all this is going to lie on Carter Stanley because every team's going to want to stack the box. And that's what's really been happening. Puka Williams is so good, he'll still get those 20, 30-yard gains just because he's that good. But he could get 200, 250 yards a game just because of how talented he is. And if the offense is spread out more to let him have, hit more of those gaps. But when you spread us out like that, our offense is going to be better because we spread the defense out. And that's why the BC game was so good. And also BC, they didn't have very good linebackers, and we exposed their linebackers the entire game. There were so many plays where the linebackers just looked completely lost. Of course, they hadn't seen what they just witnessed on film, so they're probably thinking, wait a minute. We thought they were going to come out and just run the ball. Now they got all these wide receivers. What are we going to do? So, we kind of hit them with the hammer there, and they didn't know how to recover. So we're not going to have that same effect on any team this year because they've seen that game. They know that we can do that. But yeah, the key definitely is to spread it out, spread the defense out, give Puka more room. And Dearmon even said that he was going to give he wants to get Puka the ball on the outside. So I think we'll see a lot of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, he said he told him that he's gonna get him on the edge. It kind of got me excited. Let's talk about that miles to go from last Thursday because we didn't get to talk about it last week. Mm-hmm. And man, that miles to go last week. Listen to Dearmon and then listen to Dearmon's press conference, dude. I would run through a brick wall for that dude. He had me amped up and ready to go. I was ready for a KU game right then and there. Did you feel that way?
Absolutely. It reads you, and I like in the miles to go. The only part of the Oklahoma game they showed was just the very end of it. Just Les walking up to Lincoln and just calling it good, like, hey, man, you're going to do something special. And that was it. They didn't really focus. They're like, we're done with that game. We don't want to. And, it's funny because KU, they have overseeing rights. So they probably told ESPN, let's just focus on the good here, the thing that'll get the fans to the stadium. Let's not focus on this crap that we put on the field, which it wasn't. Honestly, they didn't play that bad against Oklahoma. It could have been much worse. So I got to give them credit on that. But, yeah, man, it's just Dearmon's just he's a player's coach. And that's the crazy thing is when you make changes throughout the middle of the season, it's not always so well accepted by players. There's always a little bit of turmoil and mixed feelings. If the player, especially if they have a close relationship with the coach that's getting let go. But it almost seemed like none of the players had any connection with Keenan, and they were even more pumped up to see Dearmon promoted. I mean, it's like they just wanted him to be offensive coordinator the entire time. So that to me was impressive, and I got that sense from Miles to Go as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I got out of it. Everybody was pumped up and ready for him to be the offensive coordinator. I think this is going to give the offense some juice just by the pure fact that they're excited to have Dearmon as the offensive coordinator. Not even the plays that he's going to call and the offense that he's going to have. Just the pure fact that he is the offensive coordinator now. I think everybody's excited. I think the whole offense is excited. It's just going to help.
Yeah, and they should be excited. I mean, when you have guys like Puka Williams and Andrew Parchment, Dalen Charlotte, those type of playmakers. I mean, you could even throw in guys like Kwame Lassiter, Takuve Williams, Quan Hampton, Stephon Robinson. I should have included him with the first 2 wide receivers. He got 2 touchdowns the last game.
He's only the second leading wide receiver on the team.
Yeah, I know. Right?
All
right. He's a stud, man. Like he's good. He's quick. He's not a big wide receiver, but he's got some ups. He's athletic, and when he catches that ball, he's not done. He's a guy that'll make you miss, and kind of reminds me of a Steven Sims. With how quick he can just stop. So, we just have so many playmakers on offense, and Kenny just wasn't getting the ball to those guys, and I think they were kind of getting frustrated too. When you're a guy like Andrew Parchment and you come out and you have this big game, and the next game you have like nothing, or I don't know, or was it Dalen Charlotte that had a big game and he got like 0 targets or something the next game? It's like you just can't do that. You have to get the ball in these playmakers' hands somehow. And that's Dearmon. He's going to do that. So these players are going to be excited because they know that they're going to get the ball. They're going to get the ball in space. They're going to be able to make plays happen. And that's going to make them play even better once they start experiencing that.
Right. I think so, man. I think it did just look like everybody was excited because I think that everybody on the offensive side is going to benefit from it because Dearmon knows how to get people the ball. He was a quarterback. He knows how to get people the ball. Stanley knows that he has the coach has his back, obviously, because on that Miles to Go, Stanley was it showed that he was one of the first people he called. I'm sure he probably was. Yeah. And that's huge for a quarterback. That's massive. What did we talk about all year last year? About how our starting quarterback probably felt like they run out on the field and the first mistake they make, they have to come off the field. That's not good for a running back or a quarterback. Sorry. That's in their head. And on that Miles to Go, even Dearmon said, this is quoted from him. He said, "When I was a quarterback, I liked knowing when I was a coach's guy."
Yeah.
All that is confidence with in Carter Stanley's head. And that's going to make him better. That's going to make him a better player. That's going to make him a better teammate. That's going to make him a better leader. That's going to make him better all around. And that gets me excited right there.
Absolutely. And it was funny to see Carter Stanley. He took another shot at Beatty there. And
I know he did.
Yeah. And he's like, it's nice to have that support, something I haven't had in the past. It's like, ooh, nice little jab there. And it's not much.
Yeah, that's twice. That's twice.
Yeah.
In 10 episodes, at least.
And he deserved it. And that's the thing this entire year, man, is what I was hoping for, is to let Carter play, to let him play through and see how he does. And every time, dude, he is not disappointing. You look at his games and his stats this year, it's not that bad. What game was it when they're, the BC game when they were wanting to pull him after that interception, which I get it. He had 2 interceptions the game before. We just lost to Coastal Carolina. He comes out, just a bad pass. He said it slipped out of his hand. Interception. So you're thinking, well, I mean, at that point, if they would have changed him, I wouldn't have been upset. But I still, if it were me as the coach, I still would have kept him in. Just because you have to have that consistency. You have to let him play through those plays. And keeping him on the field was the best decision they made for that game or for the entire year. And, it paid off at BC, and it'll pay off in Dearmon's system. And we're going to see that. Maybe not against Texas.
No, I don't think we're going to go out and get blown out by Texas by any means. As long as we don't have another running back decide or another player decide they want a red shirt 5 minutes before the game, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's all over with because we're, 6 games in now?
Right.
So hopefully that all those guys that want a red shirt, they've already made that decision and they're, it is what it is. So, I think, and if you're an offensive player, I don't know that you want a red shirt if you're able to play. And when you're in Brent Dearmon's offense, I think you're going to want to play because you look at his numbers, you see the things that he's done, and you're going to want to be a part of that. And again, I'm going to go back to Herbert. I'm sure he's thinking, dang, because he had the season he was putting together was just a season that, man, you wouldn't want a red shirt on because you're having such a big year. So it was just that again. Sorry to go back to that, but that was frustrating. But still, I'm sure he's thinking after leaving, he's like, man, this could have been a big deal for me. But it is what it is. So there's it'll be the next guy up. I'm excited to see Velton Gardner, true freshman. There was let's see, what game was that? The TCU game when he ran up the middle and he made that cut and made that guy miss, and it was like a 40, 50-yard touchdown or something. That was smooth, man. And the dude has some talent. So I think we're going to see a lot. I wouldn't say a lot of him, but we're definitely going to see him, and he's going to make a difference as well. So, the players should be excited. It's exciting for us because we have something else to be excited about because the season was kind of starting to take a downhill turn, and it was like, man, this isn't looking so good. But I think this is definitely going to juice up the offense, the players, the fans. It's just good all around for everybody. So hopefully the fans see it, and hopefully, the Texas game, we see it doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but just some sort of difference where people say, you know what, I'm going to show up to the Texas Tech game.
Yeah, I hope so. It's a 6:00 game.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm ready. And it's homecoming week.
You got to be there. Got to be there. But
that's going to be a good time.
Oh yeah, and for anyone expecting, I know there's been a lot of people because Dearmon's getting a lot of praise and he hasn't even called a game yet. So I get people saying, "Well, pump the brakes. This guy hasn't even done anything yet." Well, I mean, if you look at his resume, he has done things, just not at the D1 KU level. So you have to give respect to what he's done. You have to give respect to the fact that he wrote a book on the RPO. But fans also have to understand that this offense he's going to be running isn't going to be 100% his offense. He doesn't have time to install that offense. So it's going to be a little bit of what KU already has, plus what he can fit in. He said he's changing up some verbiage. Plus, you're going to have his play calling. So you're going to have his ability to read the defense and know what should be called, and giving his quarterback, Carter Stanley, some of that power to change or make calls as well. So those will be the biggest differences, and I think it will lead to more offense, but it's not going to be a complete 180. There's still going to be growing pains. There's going to be some things we're going to be frustrated with. It's just the way it goes. He didn't have all summer to prepare with this offense. So expectations should be minimal, but you should expect improvements from what we've already had.
Yeah, and okay, so talking about improvements of what we already had, I tweeted it, I think, on Friday. I meant to tweet something else about it too, but the improvements that we're talking about, like points per game, right now we're setting at 22.8. Yards per game, we're at 354.5. And yards per play is 6 yards even. Those are the improvements that I'm looking at. I'm looking to have more of everything there. That's where I'm going to be at. And if we have more than that on all three of those in this Texas game, even if we lose, and I do think we're going to lose, because we just don't have the manpower to compete completely with Texas, and especially in Austin, I'm gonna feel a lot better about this team and about this offense going forward. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's I would like to see towards the end of the year, maybe the offense averages 28 points a game the last 6 games. I know that doesn't sound like a ton, but you have to realize that there's a couple games in there that are going to be tough to put a lot of points on. Iowa State, K-State's got a good defense. Texas is going to be tough. But if they average 28 points a game throughout the last 6 games, that's going to be huge for us. So I'm not saying I expect that, but it'd be a good reason to be excited. And up the yards a bit. Maybe average 400 yards a game as well. Which I think KU right now is at like 380 or something, 360, 380.
What?
Yards
KU?
Per game? Yeah.
Yards per game is at 354.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's much less. So 400 would be a pretty big jump.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not taking that 354 and adding and making it 400 yards for the end of the year. That's if we start over these last 6 games making 400 yards a game, that's not terrible. I mean, I think we can do it. I definitely do. We are coming down to some tough parts of our schedule, but a lot of that 354 had to do with that Boston College game. So that probably makes it a little bit tougher. But like Texas, they average right now 454 yards a game. That's even if we get a high 300s for the last 5 or 6 games, I think it's a win. If we're up there around 390, if we're up there around 27 points a game, up there around 7 yards of play, that's a huge jump for the offense.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's definitely doable, and it's not expecting too much, but it's not really expecting. It's just saying, hey man, it'd be cool if we could finish the season like that. Then there'd be definitely proof that there is improvements being made, and then it would make people excited. If Dearmon can do that in such little time, imagine what he can do when he has an entire off season and a full fall camp to get these guys ready. So I think that'll definitely put a lot of confidence in the staff, the players, and especially the fans. So, but let's get into some predictions here. So, what are you thinking? How do you think this Texas game is going to go?
I think it's probably going to go pretty similar to the Oklahoma game. We probably don't get any late scores. Like we're probably going to be. Oh man, let's go 38, 24.
Wow, that's a pretty close game.
That's a win, isn't it? I mean,
oh yeah,
Kansas at this point. I don't know what the spread is yet.
It's like 20 something.
I
think it's like 20.
I'm just looking on ESPN right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 20 something. I don't know, 21, 22, something like that.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, but so I would say, I would go with something a little bit similar. Oklahoma put up 45, and they have a much better offense than Texas. I would say Texas 38 is a pretty good spot for them as far as points. For us, That's a tough one. You just don't know what to expect. I'm going to say about 20. I'd go with, so I'd say probably 38-20 is what I'd have the final score at. And we're going to see improvements, and you got to realize this Texas defense it's stout. They're going to be at home. They just came off a loss to Oklahoma. They're going to be good and frustrated and ready to get back on track because they've lost 2 games this year, so they've knocked their playoff hopes out. So they're going to be focused. And this is going to be, it's not going to be just a regular Texas team that we're going to be facing. This is going to be a fired up team. So, I would say 38 to, if they got 38 points and we got in the 20 range, I think that would be a win for KU.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that Texas defense is pretty stout. I mean, they played really well on Saturday. I thought against Oklahoma.
Yeah,
only allowing Oklahoma 34 points. I don't.
It's pretty magical.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I mean, we've talked about Hurts, and he's an impressive athlete. So that was impressive that they only held him to that. And there was a few points in the game that Hurts looked real good, but I mean, for the game in general total, he wasn't the standout person, the standout player. I didn't think because Texas made him look good, or didn't make him look as good as a lot of teams did. He looked good rushing, so I'm hoping that their rush defense isn't the best, and I'm hoping this is where Puka has a big game. I'm thinking Puka has, upwards of 150, 160 rushing yards, and Carter Stanley's going to have, with his RPO, Carter Stanley's going to have close to 50. He doesn't run it as much as Jalen Hurts. He's not the type of runner. He's not the type of quarterback, but I think he's going to get some yards. So I think our big thing this week is going to be on the ground, and I think that Puka's going to have some yards. I think Carter Stanley's going to have some yards, and hopefully that ends up helping us out, and that time of possession stays pretty equal, and it doesn't get out of hand. And I definitely don't think with Brent Dearmon it's going to get out of hand. I think he is who they say he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think lots to look forward to for this game. And it's going to be on Longhorn Network, so good luck trying to find a place to watch it. If you get that channel, good for you. That's awesome. If not,
I do.
Yeah, I don't think I do with Hulu Live TV, so I may have to go to Johnny's West and watch it, which is fine. But yeah, if you can find it somewhere, whether you have to go out somewhere and watch it, or if your cable providers provides it. So, but yeah, I think there's going to be some things where we leave this game, we think, you know what, we did get beat, but there's still some positives. So, should be some good things. But did you have anything else to add about the Texas game or Brent Dearmon or anything like that?
I don't. I don't know if anybody else saw. I mean, I guess I do have a little bit more to add, but nothing crazy. I don't know if anybody else saw KU Sports. They came out today, which is on Tuesday, of the details of his contract.
Oh, yeah.
He is. There's some different things about his contract. He has a lot of potential for bonuses, and raises and bonuses. I'm not going to get into all of them because there are tons. But let's just say KU, and this is and so far he's getting paid $250,000 through 2021. In the first 2 years, if he's hired somewhere else, there is a $500,000 buyout. So, oh my gosh, if he goes somewhere else, we don't have to pay a coach. That would be different. But if we make it to the Big 12 championship game, he gets a 5% bonus. If that's really the main thing that would ever probably happen. Maybe if we play in a bowl game in the next couple of years, he would get a 5% bonus. And that 5% goes off of that $250,000. There's also several different things that he can get a raise for, which is pretty interesting. If he could get a $50,000 raise per year if we make a bowl game. And he could get, and then whenever it comes to wins, if we could get to 6 wins next year, I doubt we win 4 of our next 6 games, but who knows? I guess we could. But next year, he would get a $50,000 raise. 7 wins, he'd get a $75,000 raise for the next year. And also, this is probably the biggest thing that I thought anyways. He actually gets a raise for being ranked for scoring offense in the Big 12. It goes from 40,000 to 120,000. So if KU is the 5th ranked scoring offense in the Big 12, he gets a $40,000 raise. If we're the 1st ranked scoring offense in the Big 12, he gets a $120,000 raise, and it goes up $20,000 in between 5 and 1. Those are kind of interesting things to me that came out about Dearmon, about his contract. I thought they were kind of cool. If we win the national championship, he gets a 25% bonus. I don't really see that happening in the next few years, but hey, you never know. Crazier things have happened.
I don't know that crazier things have happened.
Okay. All right. Maybe I lied. That might be the craziest thing ever to happen.
Yeah. Lawrence would probably burn down, and they would be happy to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It'd be a lot, but yeah. So that's cool, man. He has a lot of incentives and, to improve the offense. So he just got a new baby. He's got a beautiful family. He's going to want to stack up some dough and spend some money on. So get a new car as well. He's got that 09.
Hey, what did he say? His wife has 4 new cars since he had one? Yeah,
and he's been rolling in the Corolla, an 09 Corolla or something, or Camry or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty funny.
Those babies run for a long time now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we pretty much got everything covered on that. Now, you did mention you wanted to talk about something else here towards the end.
Yeah. I wanted to mention one more ex-KU football news today. Ben Heaney just got drafted by the XFL today.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty awesome.
Did you do that? By the New York Guardians. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, he deserves to play in the NFL, so hopefully he can get another shot there. But, if XFL is his thing, then by all means, do it.
Hey, cool. Yeah, that's cool. I plan on watching XFL, so.
Yeah. All right, well, let's kind of wrap things up here. My JoJo's getting restless, so, you
okay.
What were you wanting to finish with there?
Yeah, okay, so I just joined in an advisory board. It's called Camp Kesem. It is a camp that is held for kids that have had parents that have dealt with cancer, either died from cancer or are currently dealing with cancer. And it's a camp where these kids can go, and it's something that really speaks to me. I am a child that dealt with losing a parent whenever I was 6 years old to cancer. And so this is something that's huge for me. Something that I felt like that I've always always needed to do. Something along these lines. I never knew about this until just a few weeks ago whenever I was listening to Nate v. Katie on 810. But this camp is for all these kids to go to. They have a goal of 100 campers this year. It is held in Elmdale, Kansas. It is considered a Camp Kesem KU. The actual camp is ran by KU students. All students, you have to be a student to actually be at the camp and to be with the kids, and everybody that is there has dealt with a parent with cancer. And it's something that I'm going to be talking about probably quite a bit in the next several months on this podcast as well, because I am very passionate about it. If I would have had something like this as a child, it would have benefited me greatly. I wouldn't have waited until I was 32 years old, or 30 years old, I guess, I think is whenever I put out that blog on our website about it. I would have been able to do it whenever I was 7 or 8. And it probably would have changed my life completely. But there's several different things there's several different fundraisers, several different, events. And, I just wanted to let everybody know that I would be telling everybody about it, as it gets a little bit closer. And, I just want to get the news out. If you have anyone that has gone through this, if you know any families that are dealing with this, that have dealt with this, that reach out to me. I will. I'll get you hooked up to the right people. I'll get them hooked up to the right people. All you have to do is you can send me a DM on Twitter with email, anything. I just want people to know, just because I know how much it could have benefited me whenever I was younger. The camp is going to take place at the end of May in Elmdale, Kansas. There is going to be an event in February. It's going to be either February 22nd or February 29th. It's called the Make the Magic event. It's a big fundraiser because it's a free camp for the kids, and I'll give you more details later on, but it's a big event where there's giveaways, there's food, there's a big dinner where you can purchase a seat, you can purchase a table, you can do all these things. And I definitely want to look at my KU crowd to help with this, because this is the KU version of this, or KU chapter of this. I do want to have the two people that really run it, the students, maybe on this podcast at some point to talk about it a little bit as well, just to kind of help out. And I'll let everybody know a little bit more. I just wanted to warn everybody now and let everybody know and to let me know if you might have any other families that have this situation in their life. And that's really about it right now. You can go to Camp Kesem. That's camp, and then Kesem is spelled KESEM.org, and you can find all the information that you need about it. And it's a very helpful camp, and a lot of kids really, really enjoy it. A lot of families say that it's done wonders. So, yeah, that's all I really had to say about it right now.
Awesome, man. Well, that's an awesome thing, and I can't imagine going through that. I've been lucky enough to have my mom around, so and kind of my dad. But so that's tough, man. You had to go through that, but it's awesome that you are going to be helping out with this program here, and I think it's a big thing. And there's not enough assistance out there for these kids, and I think it's a big thing that you're doing, and I think it'll not just help them, but it'll help you as well. So that's awesome. Good to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't know. We don't really have anything else to add here, but
there's a Kansas basketball game on Thursday of next week.
Yeah, get excited for this year. Yeah, because this might be the last year we have for a couple of years that we actually are able to do anything.
Don't be negative right now. Don't be negative right now.
Well, I'm just trying to be realistic.
Let's be positive all year.
I'm trying to be realistic, but enjoy the year though. This is going to be. We're going to see a team that's fired up, that's ready to just win the championship. That's going to be their thing, man. So, yeah, KU basketball is going to be fun this year. But that's a whole nother podcast. So hopefully, maybe next week or something, we can start getting in some basketball. Start talking some of that. So, but yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. Also, before we go, Ryne, where can they follow you at?
Follow me on Twitter at Hawk_Jock. Follow us on Facebook at Hawk Jock KU.
Yep, and you can follow me on Twitter, the Fitz KU. But I think that's all we have for you tonight. Tune into the Texas game and you know, don't expect to win, but I would say expect more from the offense for sure. It should be fun to see an offense ran by Brent Dearmon, and hopefully we see some good things. But we appreciate you guys listening, and you have a wonderful night.